stuff we've gotten here lately. Some of it we actually went and picked up, in the sense that it was domestic kits. And then we got a giant box from Hobby Japan, and then we got a few things in here from the eBay as of late. I did this video as a big chunk, and it was well over an hour, and frankly, about 2/3 of the way through, I lost my interest in it. So I'm recording it over again because I wanted to sort of split it up into several videos, make it a little more bite-sized for you guys to watch. It allowed me to get into certain things a little more in depth, because obviously trying to cover everything that you're going to see over the next several videos in one big chunk was requiring me to just, sort of throw something on the screen, say a few things, take it back off again. And like I said, it still went forever at the time. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to be doing just kits that we picked up here locally that are new releases from Revell and Round 2, as well as some decals that we got in the Hobby Japan shipment that don't really go to anything specific. They're for other projects, or they're replacement decals. And then we also got a large shipment in from SK Decals for the Civics that BMAX did, the EF3. So we'll take the camera, we'll pitch it that way, and you guys can tune in for episode 1 of probably at least 4 videos. So catch you in a second. Alright guys, so bear with me. Obviously we have a kit bottom here, just to form sort of a background so that the camera can focus on the decals as we go through them, instead of fighting with background noise. First set of decals we have here are from Shunko. These are the decals to replace the Nippon Denso Toyota Exiv Corona, or the Toyota Corona Exiv, that comes in the Tamiya kit. Just a straight replacement for those decals. Here's what the placement guide looks like. As you can see, it's a two-tone car. It's mostly white, with obviously a good chunk of red in there as well. Got gnats in my basement all of a sudden from someplace. The swishes, the check marks. Hang on, I need my pointer. Please hold. These markings here, these markings here, this marking down here, these blue stripes here, they're all included on the decal sheet itself. Basically, you just have to mask off the front bumper itself, and then the two-tone that goes from the mid-front door back. Most of these roof decals are there, as well as the front fender decals, and these back quarter decals in this blue stripe down here. So it's a two-tone mask, but it's not really bad two-tone mask. It's not like you're painting it 3 colors and trying to get these blue stripes and stuff like that on there. So we'll probably work a little bit with the kit decals themselves, depending on how good or bad they are. I'm not sure if the decals themselves include the red altogether, as I have not actually unsealed that kit to look at it. Obviously, it's pretty much the same as the other one. The main difference between the two kits themselves are the mirrors, and the wheels are different. But beyond that, they're pretty much the same kit. The other thing out of the Hobby Japan box, because one of the things I'm going to hold until we get to another video, is this. This is the new Mazda MX-5, the dress-up decals. These are Studio27. And like I said, these fit the new-ish, because at this point it's probably 6 months old, but the new Tamiya MX-5, the new 2015-2016. Basically, this creates the, what do they call it, the Mazda Cup, basically, for lack of a better term, I think. Decals, obviously, this decal graphic shows you a roll cage in here that doesn't come with any kit and currently isn't available in the aftermarket. But this is sort of a race car that Mazda's put together for their sort of, single series race, if you want to call it that, a single source race where everybody's racing same yada. You get a couple of different sets of round rolls and a couple of different sets of graphics in an overall sense. So what I want to do with these decals is take the silver and black swooshes that you see here and just put them on a kit. I'm not going to use the rundrels. I'm not going to build the cage and stuff because I really don't want to build the race car per se. I just really like the the striping package that this comes with, and you get some endless logos and some Bridgestone logos. I don't necessarily know if we'll use this giant Potenza that goes on the back or not, but what's really nice about this decal sheet is that the endless logos are in black and they're also up here in white. So you could really potentially use these twice. You also get a giant carbon fiber hood, trunk, and sort of a back deck area, as well as like a shift boot and door panel. There's power window buttons on here, so this is like a carbon fiber door panel kind of thing. Like I said, we probably won't use these round rolls down here. We won't use these racing numbers or the arrows for like the where you open the car for safety crews. But we'll take a look at it because obviously there's back here there's another set of instructions to tell you how to use the other carbon fiber, and I'll take a look at what those are. And what I'm looking at is the Plamos trans kit that we just got. The one that you recall we did a video for not that long ago that does the MX-5 Club, which is the street car that this race car set of decals is based off of. I want to take when I build this trans kit, I want to use these swoosh decals and the endless Bridgestone logos, as well as the carbon fiber interior pieces. And then for anybody who follows Plamos on Facebook, or I think we mentioned it before in the Stash project, they're going to be doing a sort of a different sort of up top, more of something that looks more like a actual hard top rather than a convertible top. Something they're working on right now. I have no release date or anything to tell you about on that, but and what we're going to do, what I'm thinking about doing, and we'll see if I feel like it. We'll see. Basically, I want to see what the actual full conversion looks like before I commit to buying it. But my thought is to get another MX-5, and then we'll use the carbon fiber pieces on that hard top thing, and then we'll paint it a different color, and then we'll use the whatever the opposing endless Bridgestone I have left over, because more likely I'll do the cup car, the trans kit in white, and then use the black Bridgestone endless, and then maybe we'll do the other one in like a red or a black or something that we can use the white ones. So at any rate, that's the two from the Hobby Link Japan box. Now moving on to SK decals. We'll just mention this because this is the kind of guys that they are. What these squares of numbers are the numbers for the Gear Race of Macau Watkins BMW 318i car that you recall if you watch our channel a lot. I actually built. It was my 24-hour build that I finished this spring. Goofed it up a little bit and whatnot, but the one big issue, if you remember the decal set, was that when Studio27 put out the decals, they didn't have enough numbers. They only included 3. You'll notice here, the numbers are go to 1 to 3, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of each decal number. And the car itself requires 4 because there are 1 on each door, 1 on the roof, and then 1 on the hood. And so my build of that kit doesn't have one of the number 2s that goes on the, actually this one, the skinnier one, because they're actually, you notice they're different shapes. One's tall, one's a rectangle, one's a square. But I'm missing one of these rectangle number 2s that goes on the hood. So the guys over at SK Decals were kind enough to include these for free. Basically, you'll see I bought a whole bunch of stuff, so it wasn't like they were losing any money. But they did cut up a decal sheet just to give me. I just wanted one number 2, and they sent me the whole shebang of all 4 of them. So a whole bunch of numbers now. Yes, so long as I want to number something 1, 2, 3. But that was very cool of them. They didn't have to do that. I mean, I mentioned it in passing to them, and they went ahead and threw it in the order. And like I said, top quality decals and really nice guys. They'll talk to you on Facebook and everything. So I highly recommend this stuff. But of course, it's obviously catering to a specific race crowd, an Asian race crowd. They're not going to do NASCAR decals or anything like that. But if you're into the subject matter, they make some very unique stuff that you also can't get anywhere else. Starting up with stuff I actually paid for is this set of decals here. I don't know if it's going to focus. There it goes. Obviously, this stuff all has this wax paper on it, so just forgive that fact. I'm not going to take the stuff out, and especially this, I'll end up losing it. But these are the Michelin fill-in logos for the reissue of the Tamiya. Trying to think which one of the kits it is now. It's not the Bosch kit. It's the other one, the Martini, the Martini reissue. Anybody who's followed the Alfa Romeo reissues from Tamiya of the Jägermeister, the Alfa Corsa, and of course, most recently, the Martini version, they did not license the Michelin logos, so all of the reissue kits are missing it. Now, SK Decals has done a set for the Alfa Corsa and also a set for the Jägermeister, and this set will go to either Bosch or the Martini. It doesn't matter. The logos are the same. It includes little Michelin men down here at the bottom, and then Michelin wording. And what you can't see because it's in behind a piece of wax paper is there are tire stencils in here too. They're not stencils; they're actually decals, but they include the Michelin pilot decals for the wheels. So. This is like $7 or $5 or something like that. I'd have to look it up and then do the conversion out of Hong Kong dollars. But it's a quick, cheap, and easy little set of decals. Taboo Graphics also did a set. It's cool. I'm very much a stickler for accuracy in my race cars because it's sort of one of those things that, unlike a custom or a hot rod or a rat rod or even to a certain extent a muscle car, or modern car, race cars are obviously, you're building a very, very specific vehicle, and to not have a set of logos would sort of drive me a little crazy. The next set here from SK are the SO Exiv replacement decals for that Tamiya Corona Exiv kit. You guys who watch the program all the time know that we actually got this one first, and then we got the Nippon Denso. Ended up paying about like $40 for both kits combined with shipping included. So very cool to have those old, I guess it would be Japanese touring championship cars, because they're kind of hard to get a hold of here in the United States. They may be a little more easy to find over in say Japan or maybe Hong Kong, China, mainland China itself, and other places in Asia. But here in the United States, you don't see them too often, and they tend to go for outrageous prices. So these being 1995 kits also have, of course, the Tamiya 1990s decal issue, where this kit was brand new, it was sealed, and I opened it up, and I'm looking at some of the decals, and I think they're kind of sketchy. So for, I can't. Again, I know, all I know is that all of this ended up costing me $150 shipped. So I don't know what they cost individually, but break that down, count the decal sheets, break it down, and then take a couple bucks off of that last set of tire decals, and you get basically what these end up costing, and being like $18-20 a sheet. But then not have to worry about decals. I think it's worth it. This car was built, could be built one of two ways. You could build it sort of the ESSO sponsorship, which is what's peeking up out of here, and then there's the Zent Exiv version, which is the car number 1, which is on the back here. And we're going to stick here for half a second, because in the actual Tamiya kit, all of this red is actually decals. There's 2 sheets of decals in the actual model kit itself. So I don't know what the quality of these decals are going to be. I'll try to use the kit decals, because you'll notice, of course, the red areas aren't included on this decal sheet. You just get the words and stuff like that. So it'll present an interesting masking if the red decals end up being junk. They only ever issued the kit once in 1995, so they're going to be decals that are as old as my high school graduation, which is why I bought these replacement ones. Now, also not going to build it exactly this way. This paint layout will be the same way, requiring masking off little chunks and areas. None of this red is included in the decals, so it'll be a more complex masking than the Nippon Denso one. And if you were paying attention to the last thing, you could see the difference in the wheels here. What I also got was this little sheet of decals, and what this little sheet of decals does is convert the this set right here into the 1995 Gia Race of Macau car, and that Shazank will be like that. So this will build the SO version. That's why you need these decals in the first place, because they don't include the SO logos. They just include a lot of the conversion decals and changing the numbers and stuff like that. But we're going to be building this whole kit as the Gear Race of Macau, mainly just because at this point I have so many Gear Race of Macau things that sort of become a little, subset of collection, if you will, as far as what my interests are. So both these will be combined to go into this one. Like I said, this one only has basically the one little SO decal for the roof, and then it's got all the compact computer. Anybody remember compact computers? Good times. All of the conversions to take it over into this. This again was not a full price decal sheet. It was like $9 or $10 because it's just basically you need this sheet, or you need the sheet from the actual kit itself to fill in a lot of this stuff, and then you're changing out like this number, the driver's name, this Tom's Motorola back here, the actual door number. If I set them side by side. Granted, they're not exactly the same sponsorship, but you get the idea. It's just a few relatively minor changes to convert it over. I'd like to find another one of these and build it. Actually, I'd like to find two more of these and build it. One is the Zent and one is the SO as far as the Japanese Touring Car Championship. But unless they reissue it, more than likely I'm not going to find two of them real cheap. I already bought the two real cheap ones that I found. Moving along, we have here the AMG Driving Academy. These will be so you can build the 2015 Fiat GT World Cup Macau race car. You actually get two different, actually, you can build this one of two ways. I have two sheets of it because I'm going to build both cars eventually. But you can build this, which is a black car. This was the final racing version for the number 2. And then also included in here are these, which were the practice markings for the car number 1 and car number 2. Obviously, you'll see here there's tiny little, I don't know if it'll show up on full screen, but it's 32 and 33, meaning 1 or 2. So you can build the practice version, you build the racing versions. This car, the number 1 car, in its black formation, the final racing version, the number 1 car, end up winning the actual race itself. Basically, these, you can't see, they look like they're black, I realize, but these are red. All these striping systems here are red because obviously here you'll see that they're red decals. And the red was used on the black car as well. And pretty much all of the decals are the same. Obviously, you have a bunch of 1s and 2s to change the car numbers. And there are a few little bits and pieces here that are different between the two cars, drivers' names, obviously, and stuff like that. But I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll build, this car, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, wait a minute, why do I see two instruction sheets for this? And he's like, oh, well, there's a practice and there's a racing version. And I'm like, oh, well, then I have to have both. And I'll end up probably just building both of the same car, build the car that actually won the race in both formats. So, anyway, that's that. This right here would be you'd be like, wait a minute, that looks awful familiar. Yeah, this is the 1993 Gear Race of Macau Watson's BMW 318i decal sheet. And if you're like, what in the Sam Blazes did you buy another one of these for? This decal sheet, you'll notice here in the middle, has these multicolored stripes here. You'll recall that the actual car that I built had green and yellow, which matched the back panel decals. That was the race configuration. These yellow, red, green, and blue decals, along with the yellow, are used to make the practice version. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be building the number 2, the Winkelhock car, for the practice version, mainly because I really like this graphics scheme. The kit itself was, I got to said in the video, a fairly decent kit, but I didn't want to build the Studio 27 car again. So this will give me the chance to build the car a second time in a similar but not exactly same conversion. This will be the decal layout back here for the actual race version of the car. again, there's a, let me see if I get the whole thing in there. There we go. Again, the uh, practice version is slightly different. You lose this Watson logo for a FINA logo. You lose a couple of different associate sponsorships. Also, there's this little decal right here. I'm not sure what it is. I'd have to look at it real close, but I just know that it's here. And this decal was for the race version, and it is not in the Studio 27 decal sheet. So this little logo here, whatever it is, I'm going to end up chopping it out of the decal sheet. Let's see if I find it on the actual decal sheet. It's behind, with it being behind the markings, you can't see it. It's these little logos right here. I'm going to have taken these two little logos when I build the car, but that way I don't, scuff the decal sheet up. But when I end up building the practice version of this, I'm going to take these two decals out and put them on the race version car. Even though the race version car, like we said, is bjorked and it's never going to be a contest model or anything, that'll just, be that last little touch to, finish that build, because, again, I'm very picky about my graphics. This set of decals here is the first of several for the Civic, the EF3 BMAX Civic. Right now, that car is still sold out. The run's sold out, and it's very, very hard to find one that's not like $50 on eBay. I did get one the other day on Hobby Link Japan of the 4 that I have back ordered. I don't know when I'll ever get the other 3. We'll see when they decide to reissue the kit with its new liveries in the fall, and then maybe they'll rerun the Pio one. If not, I'll just buy the other ones. But irrespective of that, this is the cabin racing logos. People may go, hey, don't you have a cabin set as it is? Yes, I do, but that is a Japanese Touring Car Championship Series. This is the Gia Race of Macau specific version. And here's what that looks like. Pretty much the car is identical as far as the color scheme goes as the JTCC car. Associate sponsorship differences, the numbers are different, where they're located is different, and things like that. This car does not come with the same layout as the other decal sheet from Autocolor did. Well, Autocolor, we've talked about before, is owned by BMAX, so it was a little more comprehensive a sheet. But what they have included in here, and you see it peeking out right here, is masking logos. And what they've done is they basically copied all of these line decals. This is the one that goes around the front cowl of the hood, and then these ones go down the side, and this covers like the C panel in the back. We flip it over here, you'll see that is this decal here, the big U, and then the decal that goes down the side of the car here, and then it'd also be the decal that covers back here behind the fuel tank. And it's a masking seal, like a window masking seal. It's obviously made out of the same stuff that Tamiya tape is made out of. And what that does is it allows you to basically place this decal that makes the great big U that goes around the whole top of the car, that splits the red and the yellow, or the red and the yellow. Wow, the red and the white. It's time for bed. With that mask being the exact width of the decal itself and the shape of the decal itself, it basically, like I said, allows you to apply the decal to put the color line exactly where it needs to be. There won't be any like misjudging, oh, it's too high on one side and not high on the other. You see people who mask cars do that all the time. They don't actually like measure the space. They'll just eyeball it, and the mask will be higher on one side than it is on the other. That prevents this whole thing. It's a perfect, you end up with a perfect mask of what it needs to be, and then you just obviously have to paint the car white and then mask, do the mask and then paint the bottom of the car red. Very cool little touch. They've just done a set of decals for the Jack's Cool sponsor, like the cigarettes, Cool, Kool. Anybody with a nicotine habit will remember those cigarettes. I don't think they even make them anymore, but they did it back in the 90s, and they made a set of those for the Japanese Touring Car Championship Honda Accords. You may recall that Tamiya kit, and they have the same thing where they've put the same sort of masking thing into that thing because it's a very complex masking scheme, and doing it with these masking tape seals that are the shape of the decals allows you to precisely mask without, trying to eyeball it. Moving along, here we have the Rezo decals for the, again, Gia Race of Macau. You might be like, don't you have a set of these? No, I have a set of these for the Intertech series, which is the race series that the Honda Civics participated in. The decals that Studio27 made do not have the option to build the Gear Race of Macau. You can only build the Intertech. So this is, like I said, another Gear Race of Macau thing. It'll be cool. I'll be the cool kid on the block with all of the Civic cars. But this is a two-tone paint scheme. You got to paint the top of the car black. The decals are here for the red line that transitions it, so that's nice. You don't have to paint it tritone. And the bottom of the car is obviously white. Overall, the car looks pretty much the same as the Intertech Rezo, but obviously you've got some Panwai motors here, and there's a Kawai steel, and a couple of different associate sponsorships that, to me, at least in my personal opinion, make the car different enough. There's some Chinese caricatures that go, well, caricatures, wow, they're not caricatures, they're actually letters, but Chinese characters that go across the front of the hood here. This is a different associate sponsorship on the back, and like I said, it's just different enough to amuse me enough to buy another set of decals. This here will be the Idemitsu Motion Mugen sponsored Honda Civic EF3. Again, you're, well, this is quite similar to something you have. Yes, quite similar, but not exactly the same. This makes the Intertech series race car. The decals that Autocolor did gives you the option to do either this car, which is the Intertech series, or what they were calling the well, on here it's just labeled best of the best because this part of the logos are the same, but they did a 20 best drivers thing where they've just got a bunch of drivers that were not necessarily just driving these Civics, but driving all sorts of different vehicles, and then put them into a sort of IROC series in Japan, if you will. This builds the Japanese Touring Championship, or the Intertech version, and I said you can build the Intertech version or the best of the best series car with the Autocolor, and I'm going to do the best of the best with the Autocolor, being that that's the option, and then we'll be doing the Idemitsu Motion JTC car with this. Beyond that, what's different? Well, these stripes and whatnot are different color. They're a silver basically on this car, and they're a gray on the other car. So the car looks the same, but it's not quite the same. And then we got two more, and then we can move on to kits. I promise we're almost done here. I'm going to get these in the correct order. Whoops. Almost dropped one on the floor. This is the Modal sponsored Honda Civic EF3. This is going to be another Intertech Japanese touring car sponsored vehicle. This does the 1988 paint scheme. And it's going to be a two-tone paint scheme, but you see a lot of the brake lines the brakes in the paint are there. So basically, you're going to paint this car red and white, and then this black and gold brake line is going to be in the decals itself. This is actually going to be one of the two new liveries for the kit itself from BMAX. However, unless they fix it before they put the kit out, which is always a possibility, the decals as they were shown in the last, actually I guess it would be the Shizuoka Hobby Show, are not correct, and these ones are. So I went ahead and bought these on the offhand chance that BMAX doesn't get the decals correct. Also, I really don't care about the kit decals per se, because obviously I've got aftermarket ones. And then they also, guys, have also done this, which is the 1989 modal Intertech JTC car. And we'll slide this way a little bit so you can see the difference between the two. And then there's this. So it sort of inverses the paint scheme. The top of the car is red, the bottom of the car is white. Obviously over here it's white and red in the opposite manner. But beyond that, the cars look kind of the same. There's a little bit of different sponsorships. A lot of the stuff is obviously in negative. The modal is in white here, it's in red here. Red Honda Premio Bridgestone, and it's all in white over here, or at least red and white outlines and whatnot. So it's kind of cool flip-flop. It's the same car, same team, same driver, just not 1988 and 1989, and they, again, here you'll paint the car two-tone, red on top, white on the bottom, and then the black and gold dividers are decals. So very cool, very high quality silk screen decals at what is, a reasonable price. They're not quite as high as Studio 27 is, but they're also, they're obviously not printed. They're not home printed or anything else like that. They're not, cheap. They're not cheap decals in quality. They're not expensive decals in price, and they're not cheap in quality. So now we've got some kits to talk about. So we'll take this down and move it over this way somewhere. And we have 3 domestic kits, and that'll make up this video, as we're already half an hour in. This right here is, of course, the brand new release from reissue. I guess it's not really a brand new release. We'll tip this up so it moves back this way. This is the 1980 Dodge Ram Charger 124 scale kit. This is the old monogram kit. Last seen in the Bassmasters or the Gone Fishing set with the boat. No boat in here, it's just the truck. They're saying this is a 96-piece kit. It's molded in white, like pretty much every Revell kit is. It's just cool to have this one back. It's something I missed back in the day. I'm not sure I actually ever built one of these new. I don't remember building a lot of the monogram trucks, as a matter of fact, like the Bronco or the F-150 Ranger they reissued at the very end of last year. So it's kind of cool to have these back. We've talked about this in a prior video. Hey, look, it's a skill level 4. All of a sudden, your modeling skills have increased by just purchasing this kit. We'll flip it over here and see some of the detail on the side of the box here. And it's a very simplified kit. A lot of people complain about the fact that, like, the fender wells don't cover all the way up, in the sense that you can see into the bottom of the kit from the. If you flip the kit over on the bottom, it's not a complete, transition between the inner fender wells and the outside of the kit. You can see sort of up through this way. It's a basic kit. It's not really something. I mean, you could put the money, time, and effort into making this a contest model, I suppose, but it's more of a shelf model than anything, just because of being basic. You could wire it and do some very basic things here, but there's no like aftermarket support for this kit because of how old it is. Now, some people may do something, extra wheels or something like that, but you know what? It's a 4x4, and there's just not a lot of those around in general. The next kit we picked up was just this recent reissue of the 1980 Plymouth Valère Roadrunner, the fuzz duster. I'm assuming the fuzz that we're dusting is somebody's lint trap out of a dryer, because this car couldn't get out of its own way if it wanted to. Obviously, you can build this wild 1980s custom here. No thank you. And you can build a sort of a factory stock version up here. The main knock on this kit, just out of the box without even opening it, is that this T-top section here, and you can even see it in this picture, is sort of molded or engraved into the roof. It's not that hard to fix if you want to make a regular roof car of it, or you don't want to make a T-top Valère, but this box art doesn't do anything for me. This is sort of the box art that, it should, I guess, hit a button or something like that, because this was to be the stuff that was on the shelf when I was a wee lad, and, just getting into building. But this whole style that MPC was doing at the time, where everything had flares and just gaudiness, just did nothing for me. And I may be like some people's sweet spot because they were in the stride of their young building lives, but as just a beginning modeler, it doesn't do anything for me. You got your side panel here showing off all your custom Valère-ness. Obviously, you've got all sorts of goofiness going on here with flares and spoilers and louvers and side pipes. I'm gonna guess these probably weren't even functional if there was a real car. And then you have your interior shot here. Your big, beefy, these would probably be, I think these are Goodyear Blue Streak, with dirt track tires. And then you have your V8 dual quad carbs here. A picture of your decal sheet, as people up in Canada would say. And then you have pad printed Goodyear GTs. These are kind of cool because they are rubber versions of the plastic wheels that came with this kit originally. And on this end over here, you have the factory stock Valère. Now, these are not, as people point out, these are not factory stock wheels. They're not the correct wheels for this car. but they're close enough for me. I really couldn't care less. Detailed 6-cylinder engine. Oh, bucket seats. Stop it. And then, you know, it's I think the 77 Valera, the girl before this looked better, but I don't know that any of those parts still exist, because obviously what this was an annual kit, and this is where the tooling is parked, and that's why they can reissue this and not something else. We've mentioned this before, but we haven't had a Round 2 kit recently to show you. But if you're ever wondering what's in a Round 2 kit, and I see this come up all the time, just came up the other day on a forum on Facebook, or a group on Facebook, where somebody returned a model, one of the 2013 showroom replica Camaros, because they didn't know it was curbside. Well, guys, remember, there's a parts shadow layout on the bottom of the box here. You know, body, chassis, interior tub, your engine, which of course there's not two engines here, so obviously it's not a detailed 6-cylinder. It's probably a detailed V8, I'm gonna guess. And this car have a 318 in it. Your T-tops and a spoiler over here, glass. There are two sets of tires in this. Your big big tires for those custom wheels, and then the Goodyear GT pad prints. And if you're wondering what this stuff is right here, they still included the actual plastic tires in this kit too, so you get to see how awful this really was in real life. And your chrome runners down here, and your expanded decal sheet is here. Let's see if we can get it. Here, clears. So yeah, you got some pretty wild 1980s Mopar stripes. I think these were actually factory striping package that was available at the time. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Little Malaise era thing goes with that Pinto wagon we bought not that long ago. And lastly, guys, before we leave for the video here, this is the reissue of the Sunbeam Tiger, the little British sports car. This was last seen in a Blue Printer exclusive white box back in the 90s. So it's been quite a while since this came out. There's also the other Sunbeam that they did that was the Get Smart car. Know that those are not the same cars. The Tiger and the, was it an Alpine, I believe? The Sunbeam Alpine was what the Get Smart car was. The Alpine is a smaller car, slightly, with a smaller engine. The Sunbeam Tiger has a 260 cubic inch Ford V8. You get two different sets of wheels here. Some, I'm going to say, you would say, being a Japanese kid enthusiast like I am, well, look, Watanabes, but I'm pretty sure these are mini lights. And the great argument exists there of who created this style of wheel first. But you've got your sort of stock racing wheels, or stock wheels, and then your racing wheels. You got this Targa top here. Some more fender flares, because it wouldn't be the 70s if there weren't fender flares. This big gaudy air dam, some bucket seats. The box cap on this one, I guess you know I paid $22 for it, don't you? Shows the racing version here. And then the side on this side also shows the racing version with your new expanded decal sheet. These are pretty much brand new decals. They don't really follow anything that the original decal sheet had, because there really wasn't much of an original decal sheet. And then, of course, being that it is a Round 2 kit, you have your shadow box on the bottom here. Two sets of tires, one for stock, one for racing. Clear parts, chrome parts, racing parts, stock parts, two sets of wheels. Or I should say one set of wheels, because it'll be the racing set of wheels, along with, looks like your back axle, here's your engine, your interior pieces, chassis, and the body. We'll probably end up doing a kit review. Whoops, it's too far, it's on the top. Pan up, pan up. Probably end up doing a kit review of this, just because it's been a while since it's been out, and it's a pretty cool little kit. I may do kit reviews of all this stuff if you guys want it, but that right now, guys, will take it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Get to see that I really do buy actual domestic kits from time to time when the subject matter crosses my interests. And we'll be back with a European set of kits, a racing set of kits, and then perhaps 2 videos, depending on how long it takes, but at least 1 video of Japanese kits. And what I'm saying by European kits will be actually European in what they are, like Porsches and BMWs. The Japanese kits will, of course, be just Japanese cars, and then the racing kits will be race cars. So that's what you have to look forward to. And again, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back. See you guys on the other side.